Well, now to Queensland's flood recovery, and tonight we can reveal the scale of the rebuilding task still to be done, 7 months on. 7:30 Queensland has learned in Brisbane and Ipswich 6,350 buildings remain damaged. 2,600 of those are uninhabitable. In the state's north, where Cyclone Yasi struck, 1,670 buildings remain damaged. 450 of those still have tarpaulins in place. While the reconstruction work continues, efforts are now also in full swing to prepare for the next wet season. And the Flood Commission's interim report has charted a way forward. It's a detailed document with ramifications for government, local authorities, emergency services and residents. We'll hear from the state's Director of Dam Safety shortly to gauge his reaction, and we'll speak with the Insurance Council. But first to Grantham, where tomorrow the Lockyer Valley Council will hold a ballot allowing residents to swap their existing properties for land on higher ground. Paul Lockyer reports.
This is Grantham's future. A new housing estate being marked out on a hill above the town, well removed from the flood threat.
How many sites have we got on here today?
We're up to we'll be constructing 90 lots in the first stage.
Project Director Jamie Simmons is showing federal MP Scott Buchholz over the innovative development. Farmland purchased by the Lockyer Valley Regional Council to provide a new start for flood victims.
To watch this transition on the hill turn from a vacant block of land to a brand new thriving community.
People who lost their homes in the torrent that swept down the Lockyer Valley are being offered a straight swap. Their flood-ravaged blocks for new ones on the hill. There's been high interest in the first 90 lots to be allocated by ballot.
I think this community has shown a tenacity and a level of commitment to rebuilding that would supersede any project, say back as far as Cyclone Tracy.
We now know how high the water can come, how destructive it can be, and the best way to make people safe is to move them out of it. So that's where we've moved with this land swap.
The Land Initiative provided Mayor Steve Jones with a positive talking point in a week that delivered some stinging criticism in the flood report of the council's response to the disaster. What regrets do you have about how the council attacked this problem when it happened?
Look, I'm quite sure that the council did the very best they could at the time. You know, this was a disaster beyond anything that we've ever seen before. And given the size of our council and the various limitations that brings, I think this council actually did a pretty good job.
The order of life is slowly returning to Grantham, but still dotted through the old town site are the haunting reminders of that fateful January afternoon when a flood of unimaginable size and force tore this community apart.
What happened here yesterday? Armageddon.
From the time the torrent smashed into Grantham, locals have been asking where was the warning. After all, they argue, the terrifying flood had already swept through a number of communities in the Lockyer Valley before it reached their town.
People got individual warnings from friends and relatives that were further up the valley, and that's luck of the draw. But it should have been done officially.
With all the access to media, computer, radio, there should have been warning.
Those concerns were certainly reflected in the findings of the flood inquiry, with a host of recommendations for improving warning systems, including messaging on mobile phones and even sirens for small towns like Grantham.
Look, I'm really keen to see warning systems put in place. I think, you know, with the technology we've got today, we've got some great opportunities to do this.